everyone. Welcome to Season 3 of the Parent Podcast. I hope you had an amazing time of worship and study this week with our church family here at ABC. I'm Josh, youth pastor here at Acton Baptist, and I want to thank you for joining me on your drive, your lunch break, or the time you set aside just for this each week. So, without further ado, let's get to it. We just finished up the Thirst Conference here at ABC, and I hope you were refreshed and challenged as much as I was. We're starting a new kick in February, trying to upload more videos on YouTube and send out our podcast throughout more channels. So, whether you're watching us on YouTube or listening through Spotify or any other podcast platform, welcome. So, I recently heard a story of a family dinner. It was around New Year's, and the parents were facilitating a conversation about looking back at the last year and ahead to the new one. In the conversation, the dad asked kids what they wanted to be different for 2025. And one teenage son said something like this: "I'm hoping that this year I'll be able to find my people." You know, when I first heard that story, my heart sank a little. My guess is that this teenage boy had probably been struggling with his friendships for a while, maybe years. He expressed one of the most basic needs that we all have as humans, and that is the need for connection and community. Over the past number of years, the team at the Fuller Youth Institute have been doing research on the next generation, hoping to produce resources for parents and leaders to better understand and lead kids and teenagers into an authentic faith. Part of what Fuller has been saying is that adolescents are thinking about a lot of things, but much of it revolves around identity, belonging, and purpose. Now, we could talk about all three of these things for a long time, but for the purpose of this conversation, we're going to focus on belonging. You see, that's what the teenage son I was talking about a few moments ago was expressing, his need for belonging. He wants to find what some people call his tribe, his people. As parents, we want for our kids to find their people. Now, we hope that we, their family, are their first people. But we all need to recognize that they need their peers. They need good friends and healthy relationships in order to have a fulfilling life that God wants them to have. My wife and I have watched our daughter, as she's growing up, go through seasons where she's had really good people. And then she's had seasons where the people that she's had maybe weren't the best. I believe that in order to learn how to belong, our teenagers need to learn how to build healthy relationships, how to find the right people. There's a man named Stuart Hall who's a speaker and an author and a pastor. And more than that, he's a husband and a dad. And years ago, while working on a project, he came up with this quote: "Your friends will determine the quality and direction of your life." And I'll say that again. Your friends will determine the quality and direction of your life. I've told our teenagers something like this so many times, so much so that some of them roll their eyes when I say it. But you know what? They know it's true. They've seen it in their own lives. And you know, it is biblical. It comes from Proverbs 13:20, which says, "He who walks with the wise grows wise, but a companion of fools suffers harm." So, I want to encourage you as a parent to do a few things. I want you to think as you seek to help your teenager not just have healthy relationships, but learn how to build and maintain them. First, help them to understand the importance of picking good friends. We all know that teenagers can sometimes pick their friends based on wanting to be in a certain crowd, or having a certain relationship, or having a certain reputation. Help them see that finding trustworthy friends who are walking in a healthy direction is the most important thing. I'll assume that you want for your teen to have an authentic relationship with God and be growing in that relationship. So help them pick friends who are on that path. And hopefully they can find those friends at our church or in a Christian club. Just help them understand that their friends will determine the quality and direction of their life. Second, model what it looks like to build and have healthy relationships, particularly your friends. If your teenagers know that you have friends who may pull you away from the right path or derail you from being the person that God has created you to be, they just might think that all of your words about building healthy relationships are just empty. So build healthy relationships yourself and let your kids know how important those relationships are to you. Next, pray. Pray for your kids to see the importance of having healthy relationships. Pray for them to have discernment. Pray for them to develop the skills they need to have the right conversations and to be a good friend themselves. Ask God to be in the middle of the relationships your kids are building and will build in the future. And finally, do everything you can to build and maintain a healthy relationship with your teenager now. Show them what it looks like to have a healthy relationship. Help them experience it with you. Help them know what a healthy adult-to-adult relationship feels like. So when they become adults, they'll want that. Obviously, the parent-child relationship has different dynamics. But I would argue that the principles to building healthy relationships are kind of the same. We all want to belong. We all want to find our people. We all want to have healthy relationships. So help your teenagers in this area of their life and watch them grow and develop as they have the relationships they need. So we do have a few announcements before we finish up today. First of all, next Sunday is the big game, and I have to say it like that because using the trademark name gets flagged, and I don't want to deal with lawyers. It's a big day here at Acton too. The children's ministry is having their Chili Bowl fundraiser immediately following church. If you want to enter your chili into the cook-off, you can sign up at actonbaptist.com/events. And then the big game kickoff is at 5:30, so we'll be watching in the youth room starting at 5. The whole family is invited, so bring a snack and a 2-liter to share, and I hope we'll see you Sunday. And I will say, I have borrowed something from another youth pastor. We are going to play big game bingo, so it's going to be a blast. Trust me, you'll want to be there. And then finally, coming up on Friday the 21st, our youth ministry, they're going spud hunting throughout Granbury. The spud sprint begins at 2 p.m. Your teen will put a team together to trek across town, following clues until someone finds our AB Youth branded potato head. If you'd like to join us, or if you'd be willing to drive a team, you can sign up at actonbaptist.com/youth. Thank you so much for listening today. Know that I'm praying for you and your family. If you haven't already, make sure to follow our social media accounts on Facebook and on Instagram by searching for AB Youth Men. Also, go ahead and share our podcast so our reach can go out that much further. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you here at Acton Baptist and on the Parent Podcast next week.